Hello. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 6 and a section I like to call 6.0. This is a one-page insert right before Chapter 6, and the textbook writers assumed that you just have this memorized from Algebra 1. I know that's not the case, so we're going to spend a lesson on it. All right, I know. You're welcome. All right, so a couple things that I usually see people mess up. Usually 1 and number 4, kids don't have a problem with. However, 1 and 2, kids mix up all the time. I'm sorry, 1 and 3, kids mix up all the time. So you just want to be careful. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply. Okay? Also, kids usually forget that when it's in parentheses, you need to kind of like distribute that m to everything. Okay, so also include that a value is also being raised to that m. Let's see. Oh, I get this all the time. Okay, kids write, that's just a squared plus b squared because they want to distribute because of this property. Okay, that is not true, right? We know that because of foiling. Okay, so do not get those rules mixed up. Let's see. Anything to the 0 power is 1. It is not 0. Let's see. Okay, if you ever forget what a negative does, I usually just follow the pattern. So let's see. We know that 2 cubed is 8 and 2 squared is 4. 2 to the first power is 2. So notice I'm going down in exponents. So following that pattern, the next thing I should do is 2 to the 0. On the right-hand side of the equation, notice the pattern. I'm just dividing by 2. So 2 divided by 2, right? Notice the pattern is 1. Okay, I get a lot of times kids want to say a to the 0 is 0. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, follow the pattern. Okay, also with negatives, kids mess that up all the time. Follow the pattern. 2 to the negative 1, right? We keep going down in exponents. Well, we divide. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. Okay, do it again. 2 to the negative 2. Okay, look for a pattern. Dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2, right? Keep, change, flip. So that's just 1/4. Okay, 2 squared was 4. So notice 2 to the negative 2 is 1/4. So 2 to the negative 3 should probably be 1/8. And that's exactly right. Okay, so that there's a pattern. So if you ever forget, start with 2 cubed and just keep going down. Okay, get your calculator out, divide by 2. You can start to see those fractions appear. Okay, be careful. All right, don't get too cocky and do the wrong one. Okay, I also tell kids I do not give you these rules on your test. So what I encourage you to do is as soon as the test begins, start writing at the top of your test, right? And put those there. That way it's fresh in your brain. You know, if you wait until it's like a question, you're gonna be overwhelmed. You're gonna be thinking about all the different problems you've done, and you're gonna become unsure or at least a little less sure than you were before. So as soon as the test begins, I just write out the properties. Okay, and if that's something that you find that you keep making mistakes with on your homework, then I would encourage you to remember to write these properties down when you take like the SAT or ACT, because again, kids mess these properties up all the time and they're not usually given. Okay. All right, so another way to test yourself with some of the properties, the ones I talked about before, the multiplying or adding. I always think about 2's, and I just do some practice problems, and I look for patterns. So 2 to the 5th, well, that's just 2 times 2, right? A whole bunch of them, 32. Well, look at problem number 2. 2 squared, that's 4. 2 cubed, that's 8. 4 times 8 is 32. So what's the lesson here? What did I do? I did 2 to the 2 plus 3. Okay? That's the property I learned from just playing around with 2 and some exponents. All right? Let's look at 3 and 4. You know, here we have different bases. Okay? So here we have 2 squared is 4 times 3 squared is 9. 4 times 9 is 36. Here I have 2 times 3 is 6. 6 squared is 36. Okay, so squaring each of them individually is ideally what I wanted to do here. Okay? Now, what do you do when you have a power to a power? Okay, well first, 2 to the 6th, we should know that's 64. Okay, now 2 squared is 4. 4 cubed, okay, is 64. So what was the property we retained here? Well, we did 2 times 3. Okay, so you multiply when it's a power to a power. Okay, think of it when a parentheses is in between. Okay, when you have that parentheses. Here, I'll just do a slight green. Okay, that's when you multiply. And when they're next to each other, you add the exponents. Okay, let's do some examples. All right, I encourage you to practice these on your own, see if you can, what you could do. So for this one, when we multiply, we add the exponents. Okay, notice there's no number in front of here, so it's just 2. So we get 2x to the 7th. Number 8. Okay, here, everything's being multiplied on the inside of the parentheses, so we can distribute the cubed. So we can write that as 2 cubed and a squared cubed. 2 cubed is 8. A squared cubed. We multiply. So our answer is 8 times a to the 6th power. Whew, it's hard to say. All right, here we can subtract. There we go. I always take the numerator minus the denominator. Okay, and if I had other things going on, that would always be on the top of my fraction. Okay, but since there's nothing else going on, we don't really need to put it over 1. Okay, so then we get x cubed, right? Or x cubed over 1. Like I said, you don't need that over 1. Okay, so whenever you subtract, just think of it on the top of the fraction. All right, play with some negatives here. All right, I encourage you to pause it, practice, see what you can do. I can tell you right now, number 10, most people get wrong. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to approach 10. So I'm going to try it one way that I think of. If you did it differently, that's fine. Feel free to ask me in class and I can show you if we can talk about does your way work, okay, or why you got a different answer. Okay, let's see. What's tricky here is the negative in front. Okay, when I say 2x to the 3rd power, what am I cubing? The x, right? Am I cubing the 2? Well, no. So when I have negative x cubed, am I cubing the negative? All right, then I get yeses and nos, right? I'm just imagining. I can hear it right now, okay? Well, think about it. The number in front of here is -1. No, we're not cubing it. So this, think of it as -1 times 5 to the -2. Only the 5 is being raised to that -2. and then everything's being raised to the negative 1. Okay, so let's see. I like to simplify what's inside the parentheses first. Okay, so I don't like the negative exponent, so I'm going to leave negative 1 on top, but move my 5 to the denominator to get rid of the negative, so make that 5 squared. Then I have everything being raised to the negative 1. Okay, so I essentially have negative 1 to the negative 1 over 5 squared to the negative 1, or just to the negative 2. When you have negative exponents, you just flip them to the other side. So negative 1 to the negative 1 gets moved to the bottom to become a positive exponent, and this 5 squared to the positive 1 gets moved to the top. Okay, so essentially what I have here is 5 squared over negative 1. So 25 over negative 1, my answer is negative 25. Okay, I know, that was a tough one. That was a really tough one. Let's try some other ones. So number 11. Here we're raising both numbers. So the negative is also included because it's inside the parentheses. And the 3. So now they're both being raised to a negative exponent, so we flip both of them. So we put 3 squared on top and negative 2 squared on bottom. So then we get 9 over 4. There's your answer. Please, please, please don't give me mixed numbers. All right, we don't use them anymore. It's usually used like in elementary school to make like number sense. Okay, in middle school, right? It's to understand numbers and where they fall on the number line. Now that we're older, we're going to use improper fractions because they're easier to manipulate. Okay. All right, so number 12. Here, remember only the x is being raised to the negative 1. So when we flip things, the 3 is actually going to stay on top. The x is going to move to the bottom and become positive 1. And the y is going to move to the top and become positive 2. So our answer is just 3y squared over x. All right, make sure you realize what's being raised to what exponent. Okay, that's really what this whole lesson's about, is understanding where the exponents, or what the exponents are doing. All right, practice these. Give it a whirl. All right, these are the answers. So let me work them out. See, just show you one way of doing it. So let's see, for this one, let's see, we can just go ahead and distribute that negative 2. I think that's what I've seen kids do in the past. So let's see, it'd be this, and then x to the positive 4, right? A power to a power, you multiply, because there's a parentheses in between, you multiply them, over, I don't know why I put the 4 inside, it doesn't matter. Let's see, 5 to the negative 2 and y to the negative 6. Now, I don't like any of the negative exponents, so I'm going to move all of those to the other side. So, x to the 4th stays on the top. 2 squared moves to the bottom. 5 squared moves to the top. And y to the 6th moves to the top. So our answer is 25 x to the 4th, well, y to the 6th over 4. There you go. The next one, okay, let's see, I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to get x to the negative 6 over y to the negative 4 times x cubed, y cubed. All right, let's see. I'm gonna, since I'm multiplying, I'm just gonna go ahead and add them, or multiply them across, which is just adding the exponents. So x to the negative 3 over y to the negative 1. Again, I just added the exponents because it was multiplying. And then I don't like the negative exponents, so I need to flip them. And that's where I got this answer. Okay, well, I guess I can just rewrite it. Doesn't matter. Okay. Uh-oh. I don't know, I pressed some button. I'm messing around. Okay. Number 15. Let's see. Let's see. Distribute the negative 2. Let's just do that. 3 to the negative 2. A to the negative 6. Just because I know some people get tired of parentheses, but I think it's a little sloppy and hard to read sometimes. So if you're worried about messing things up, I would use parentheses. All right, then we have a negative 2. So a to the, I'm sorry, 6th power and b to the 6th power. All right, move our negative exponents down. So we get 3 squared, a to the 6th, a to the 6th, b to the 6th. We moved everything down to the bottom. And then I get this. I get kids go, oh, well, there's nothing on top, so it's just 0. Really? What's 0 divided by anything? 0. So my answer is just going to be nothing. It's just all going to go away. No. Okay, come on. All right. It'd be nice. But no, it's not going to. It's a math problem. Come on. So when everything goes away, really what we're left with is 1. Okay? Because when I multiply by this and not changing it would be times 1. Okay? Times 0 would affect my answer, but multiplying by 1 doesn't do anything. Okay? So just understand that. Okay, let's do some more. All right, pause it, give it a whirl. Okay. Here's your answer, or answers. So let's do them. Okay, I'm going to distribute that so I can get rid of my parentheses. So x to the negative 2 over y to the negative 1 times x squared. Ooh, that was kind of an ugly 2. All right, over y to the 4th. We're multiplying just straight across, so I'm just going to add them. So I get x to the 0 over y cubed. Remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. All right, number 17. And again, guys, if you did it differently, just ask me in class, and I'd be happy to start this in a different direction. Okay? Just ask. All right, number 17. I'm going to distribute that negative 1, so we get a squared, b to the negative 1. Distribute the negative 2, a to the negative 2, b to the negative 4. Move anything with a negative exponent. So b to the negative 1 goes to the bottom, a squared goes on top, and b to the 4th goes on top. All right, so then we get a to the 4th, b to the 4th over b to the 1st. When we have them in a fraction form, we subtract. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Yay! All right, 18. All right, I don't like these negative exponents, so I might as well just go ahead and flip those. So s squared over r to the 1st times, I'm going to distribute, so r to the positive 1 over s to the negative 2. All right, so let's see. I don't like, well, since I'm multiplying, I can just literally do this and think of it like that, right? Multiply straight across. Okay, so we're going to have r to the 1st s squared over r to the 1st s to the negative 2. When you have fractions on top of each other, you subtract. So r to the 0, s to the 2 minus negative 2. Be careful when you have all those negatives. All right, you're really adding, so we end up with s to the 4th, because anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. I know it's kind of a weird section. That's why I put an extra credit assignment with this one, because kids have forgotten the rules of exponents, and I need you to have this stuff memorized because it's going to keep coming back and back at you over and over and over again, especially if you want to go into analysis. So understand exponents. All right, I'll see you in class.